Oh yeah! What's up? Hello! Hi. Alright, was just fixing up some last minute housekeeping on some assembly. Now I'm fixing up some last minute G fuel, you know what I mean? It's only real G's. Spend $30 on a can of white powder. If you know what I mean. Ah, shit. Only real G's spill water all over their phone that they use for work. It's alright, it'll be fine. So, I wasn't actually sure what I wanted to do today. It is going to be a bit of a shorter stream. Just based on the fact that I have to work in 2.5 hours? Less than that? I think? Wait, maybe not. No, actually, I think I have an okay amount of time. It's just that because I'm starting a little bit late, which is because of Mother's Day. And that's fine, obviously. But the fact that I'm starting a little late and I work an hour earlier than I work on the other days, you know, some days always like that, right? So I think we'll have time for like a 2.5, 3 hour stream or something like that. And that should be a decent amount of time that we can use to get started on a new Melee map, I think. The alternative is I could try to use some of the lessons that I've learned from working with Melee maps and immediately pop into trying to make some like future Hydra mission or some other map that I might be able to use later. But I'm not 100% sure about that one. On the plus side, we are getting some updates to the AI, I think, pretty soon because of the pseudocode I've been able to write. I guess the trade-off there is that iQuery has felt like he should take a short break from Overlord. He talked about that in the last stream, if you weren't there for that. Overlord is his giant project about Guild Wars, you know, all Terran factions, no aliens. Maybe there'll be like some critters or neutral units or something, but all of the factions that you'll play as and alongside and against are going to be Terran, so it's a pretty cool premise, I think. And he's got all sorts of different ideas that he's going to try to implement there, technically speaking, but it does require a lot of code, a lot of reverse engineering, a lot of assembly, and that alone means we are in a situation where we need a lot more reverse engineering before he's able to do everything that he wants to do, obviously, so. Okay, bye. Sorry, just dismissing some stupid shit in the background. So, because of the reverse engineering I've been able to start doing, which a lot of which you've seen on stream already, if you've been following these, we should be getting some pretty good updates to the engine. This is stuff like, if you'll allow me to pull this up. So I've actually collated a task sheet that is required for Hydra to continue development. Certain things are required for Hydra to continue development, period. Other things are very high priority for various reasons. And then there's things that are like, oh, eventually, this feature is planned and it needs to be implemented eventually, so on and so forth. So some of this also includes graphic stuff for DF, like ramps and whatnot. But the main thing off of this list, like the things that are like absolutely vital, right? And there are actually a few of them. So there's a couple of commands that I've put into the modding wish list. Stuff like, should be further down. Oh, maybe I didn't even write it in here. Hold on. Oh, there is one down here. This is build Q, which has all sorts of different requirements. And basically it's used to immediately... either you can use it as a build command, or you can bypass the queue system, or the request system, and use this new queue system that immediately tells AI to spend its money if it has it. And otherwise it'll be like a fairly high priority request. But it won't actually use the request system, which is the key thing. So it removes the risk of the AI soft locking because it has so many requests at the same time, which is something that, if you remember all the way back like months ago, we found out that was happening. The AI was hitting 63 simultaneous requests, and as a result, it was not progressing. So the temporary solution is to essentially make the AI less powerful in terms of what it's requesting and less competent in terms of what it's requesting. The trade-off being that they actually do complete those requests. It's just that they request them in like slower periods of time, and sometimes they just outright request less stuff overall. The long-term solution is to make everything use this queue system, which will essentially act like the request system does without the limitation of having 63 simultaneous requests crashing your AI, basically. And in general, it will improve performance because the request system has like some sort of built-in delay, I believe. Or at least it seems to act like it has that, even if it's not built in. It might just be like an inefficiency as opposed to a deliberate design decision. Might be inefficient code. Any number of things could be the result of that. Or the cause of that, I should say. But there's all sorts of different things here that I've wanted for flags. Like, you can tell the AI to wait for a specific amount of resources, which you can manually key in as the resources of the structure or the unit or whatever it might be. Or you could just make it higher. Be like, don't start building an expansion or an extra macro hatchery until you have 500 ore, which is 200 over the request of a hatchery, but it's like your floating money, build this kind of thing. Then there's like wait tile. So it's this would link to the base layout, basically. But it would also read from whatever the algorithm, the placement algorithm is. And say like, this is where the AI thinks an ideal base layout location might be. So we're going to wait for this tile to have power or creep, depending on what you put in there. And or wait until it doesn't. So you could do like a Terran AI that waits for creep to not exist in their spot for their structures before trying to build there. Which is a very common thing that the Terran AI likes to do. Is or any AI, really. They like to build way out away from the resource area if they just cleared out some Zerg. So that would help absolve that issue. There's wait tech, which waits for tech requirements. I guess you could call that wait rec instead of wait tech. That would probably be more reasonable. Wait own, and then that's like a certain number of parameters within that. It's like player ID, quantity, unit ID. So wait until that player ID owns that quantity of that unit ID. And the unit ID could be like piped, so you'd have, Zerg Zergling, Zerg Vorverling, or something like that. Match layout is just place structure at base layout with a priority that matches the value that you put in. So you could write something like, I guess I should demonstrate this. So we'll borrow my Notepad++ from assembly, and so let's just get up to speed where we are. So it's %1 quantity, %2 unit ID, %3 flag, %3 priority. I'm writing these in brackets because they're optional. And so, wait, resources would be like build Q1 hatchery. Wait, resources would be something like 500 ore. And then you could put in a priority if you wanted to. We'll say like 90. This would be build one command center, wait tile, creep false. That's like what I was talking about with the expansion over there. And then build Q1 armory. We'll say science facility, wait rec. And that would tell the AI to wait until the AI can build a science facility, and then immediately issue it. instead of having it in the background while you didn't have the ability to. There's also so match layout was the other one. So, well, I guess this would be like more like barracks match layout 49. So if you remember how base layouts usually work, you'd have like base layout actually, I don't even remember how they work now. I think it's barracks. And then the coordinates? I haven't written AI in a while. So I'm pretty sure this is it though. So we'd say like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 as an imaginary set of coordinates. And so you'd have this. And so then your next one might be different. And it would be at priority 49. And so match layout checks the priority. And the idea is like if there's a base layout request with that priority there, it will try to build it at the coordinates of that base layout priority. Otherwise, it'll just use the default algorithm. So like if there's a priority 49 spot available, then it will build the barracks there. This is basically using the priority as a variable, so it's like another way to repurpose that for use. And then we would have build queue. I'm trying to think of there are a few other ones, but like one of them is obvious. It's like build one evolution chamber if needed, which is like player need. Hopefully we can fix player need to stop being broken, but this would basically be that. And it would be again using the queue system instead. Then there's like one that might seem a little strange, but it's basically repurposing the default build command to use all of these flags and stuff. So you'd have like build one hive request, which would use the default request system instead of using the queue system. So it would have the limitation of the 63 things, 63 simultaneous requests that need to be solved at the same time will break the AI, right? So that will still have that limitation, but if you wanted to use the request system for whatever reason, and you also wanted to make use of certain commands like wait resources or if needed or match layout or any of the other things that are above this, you could see like, oh, that would be how you would use that. So you'd be combining these things. So you'd be like request, wait resources, 500, any. Or it'd be like 500 or wait resources, 250 gas. Something like that. And then you could put in like a priority, obviously, because I think you would have to put in a priority if you used request. That might be a little tricky. Otherwise, maybe it just defaults to the priority of, like a default priority of like 90 or something fairly high. I'm not sure exactly how that would work, but that's basically the idea behind having the request thing. And then here with add, there's one last flag, which is like build queue to pylon add. And add would say, do I have any existing pylon requests? Like say I have build 1 pylon or build 5 pylon. Well, if add is there, it acts like add build, where it just adds 2 to the current number of requests instead of just requesting 2, which maybe the AI already has in that town. So that's it's like a very versatile command. It's not exactly a simple one. I'm not sure exactly what we need to add this, but this is a command that I definitely would use in pretty much every AI script because of the versatility that it offers. And so one of the reasons why I thought up this command is because I realized that there was some lackluster shit happening where I didn't want to have to make a bunch of different dummy blocks that would work basically just to manually check for some of these flags. I mean, I don't even think we can check for a wait tile. We have like a tile jump command, but I think it's only for idle orders. It's like a sub comparison. So it's not actually like a Boolean. So this would actually add functionality to the game that currently doesn't exist. Wait rec, you'd have to do something like a case-by-case basis. I think I already did this in a few cases, and it was one of the reasons why it spurred me on to do this or write this out, because it's just ridiculous to do it that way, where you have a situation where your AI looks like before it requests a science facility, it would be something like call. It would be something really dumb. So there'd be like add tech, and this would be like have stuff like build 1 academy, build 1 armory, and obviously like at the various priorities. But before every one of these, you'd be like call tech sci or something like that, and then tech sci would look like wait 12 which is just like a dummy weight. Because you're basically creating a loop. And we would say bring jump, or I guess it would be more like no towns, jump, factory, tech sci. It's a little bit tricky with the science facility because it has multiple different requirements that you could do. So in this case, we'd probably want bring jump 13 exactly 0 factory starport tech sci, and then we would say resources 13 at most 149 any tech sci, something like that. I forget. It might be any 149 instead. Those two might be swapped. I remember there being something dumb about that. But either way, this would basically be what it would look like, and then you would do return. And so the idea is you've got these two things that perpetuate this loop until you get here, and then it returns back to call tech sci, and then you would have like build one science facility 75. And so the idea behind this is basically in order to make something that is, in essence, weight resources and weight rec. In order to make those two flags, without actually having this command, I have to make a case-by-case situation where you have tech sci as a block. You call that before requesting a science facility, and then you've got to do that for an academy and for an armory and so on and so forth. So you can see how it just escalates into not being good or intelligent code at all. And it's a case where, in order to make our AI smart, make intelligent decisions based on their resources and tech requirements, we need to make sure that we're requesting this stuff at this point. They're managing money in a fair way. They're managing. They should also be managing their bases in an intelligent way, based on the money that they have and based on the tech requirements or the tech structures or the current available tech that they have, more or less. So, I think that's fairly basic, probably, but. Alright, so. I'm just going to change this to weight rec so that it accurately reflects that. Now, I don't remember exactly what attack jump was. Pretty sure. Searching it now because okay, so I talked to Icor about it in DMs, but I didn't actually put it on the Oh, okay, I see what I was doing here. So this is basically like... The fuck? Oh, I see. I just added a bunch of shit. Kind of hard to write a command like this as far as a straightforward description goes. Okay, so I've added that. That's good. Some maintenance there. Close all this stuff. Move this back over here. Well, as time goes on, you'll get more comfortable with it, so I don't think it's a huge issue per se. Oh yeah, you also gave me some more corrections. Let me check those. Isn't that what I wrote here? Jump to block E if the flags do not include it. I mean, I can write it just... I can write that instead if that is easier to see. Or easier to translate. I figured the does not equal would be read as does not include. So I'll send that over to you. And then this was buttons condition is upgrading. And I'll update this. Oh, this doesn't look too bad. This is one of the commands that was added or called by that other one. Alright. Yeah, it's not that bad at all. I thought it would be, honestly, I thought some of these functions would be bigger, but here we are. This is X tile 2. Alright. I don't want to get lost in this. I always look at this and I'm like, oh wait, I think I didn't write something. Oh yeah, I didn't write in parameter for CDQ. I hope that's okay. Right, yeah. Jump if value don't have this flag. That's what I thought. Hold on. Yeah, that's what I wrote here. Jump to block E if they do not include if they don't have flag 80,000. Yeah, sign of EAX to EDX. I didn't know if you wanted me to write that, though. I left it blank because it was a simple operation, but I can imagine you would probably want me to go into detail or something. I'm just saying, if you want me to... What the fuck? Oh. If you want me to go back in there and write in a sign of EAX to EDX, I can do that. Okay. What is it? EDX? Not EBX. Alright, so I'll remember that for the future. Boom. Well, now that you wrote that they are basically a billion Fs, whenever I see that, I can know that they're writing -1. Well, it was never that I didn't understand test. It's more that I don't understand what the AND operation does very well. But that's okay. I'll figure it out. Rotational symmetry is fucking weird. Where was Sarex? Or are you just saying SAR anything? At some point, I accidentally shifted that down. Hold on. Have I understood the purpose of shifting it by the 2 to the power of 31? I didn't even see that. Holy shit. Yeah. Never mind. I do remember that. That was nuts. Yeah, I think you told me something about that, and that's what I wrote in. I saw that, yeah. Thank you. Like I said earlier, I'm pretty sure I just need a lot more time to figure it out. I hope those that I'm making enough progress anyway with the assembly that it will help bring about some new features that we all need. Well, it's a little bit of a mindfuck just because it doesn't seem... I never really learned about, like, carry flags or anything like that, and that's what those seem to reference a lot. Or any sort of comparison flags in general. I probably just need to look up those data on those. Weird. Again, this symmetry shit is so confusing. I wonder if it's only like this because of a bug or something. It really does not seem like intended. Yeah, I think that I more or less gathered that much. Like what seems to be a common command and stuff. There was some bizarre command. It might have... Wait. I might have actually skipped it in the one that I sent you. It's towards the bottom from what I remember. I never ended up looking it up, even though I intended to at some point. Might not be in this one, though. It was like RES or RET or REN or something, I don't remember. might be easier for me to find if I find it in this list here. Oh, it was REP. That's what it was. So REP by itself looks like it's repeat while equal. And what is it comparing to? There was a operation at some point, which was AL. No. Repeat while equal to what? What exactly is such a mindfuck about it? That's the only command I didn't write an instruction for, I'm pretty sure, but I have no idea what it is. When you say it's a real mindfuck, that must mean it's not looking good. Alright, I sent you the command. Fill ECX number of entries at EDI by content of AL. What the fuck? So... ECX number of entries. So that's 0C. So EDI is what gets written to it? Because that's what... I mean, EDI is here. And that's what I figured that means that it was taking the content of the building placement state. Because that's what EDI is. So the code would look like building placement state equals EDX times 0C, because 0C is ECX. Or would it look like building placement state equals EDX? And then I can write like repeat 0C times or something? I'm not sure. Because if it's storing the data, is it doing so? It's like adding it on top of it? Right? So it's adding EDX 12 times? 0C times? Or am I wrong about that? Gotta think of a name for this map. So wait, what am I doing here? I'm writing for int I equals 0, I ECX, comma, semicolon I plus plus, EDI. It would be, what was it, asterisk EDI? Let me know if this is correct. Okay, good. Let me send this to you then. For the final time. Well, it's a pointer to whatever the that value was. Yeah, the building placement state array. The prophecy continues. Just had to fix that. Huh. The Bengalos still lives as a unit, apparent unit. Fliggy entry, probably not, but GRP anyway. I think the plating idea would only really work in a very long game. It would only ever see a lot of value in a very long game, or in a map that was like designed to be annoying in that sense. Like, if you have a really long game, okay, I need more build space for production structures or something because I'm floating money and I've already taken all my build space, so I'll build this shit. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else, but obviously if I discover something else that I can't figure out when I look it up, I will be punching you, as usual. As is customary. fuck? What a mess. I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do here. I guess I'm manually correcting this shit. I guess I'll have to open up Conspira 3. I can't wait until I am able to force DF to make all of the tiles I need him to make. What the fuck is this? Okay, so this, and then you just go straight out for like 4 tiles. Yeah. And then you pull back 1 and go out again. Do that. I don't know. Seems right. Whatever. Figure it out. Whatever. It's placeholder anyway. Extreme placeholder. No, I've just been working on this map. Magmaticus. If you know what I mean. So I guess this is psychotic ramp, naturally. Yeah, the ramps are definitely not going to be identical by any means, but it's okay. I guess I should just grab the one that I used here. What do you mean how they work? Isn't it pretty self-explanatory? And certainly, as far as writing hooks or whatever, anything's possible, but I would like to get back to actually doing what I enjoy doing by the same metric. Dude, how does this shit happen? Oh, yeah. That's easy. I feel like. No, is that like something to do with the sign or something? I'm not sure. I've never seen it in assembly. That's for sure. Okay. Done with that. All right, cool. Got a basis going on here. We'll see what we can do after that. BRB. Oh yeah, Muta's dozen? Well, you actually. Get it? You seem important. Big kisses. What are you up to anyway? Having any fun? Any of that lying around? Ah. So I see. I guess the big problem with figuring out mineral orientations at this point is like... Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a rough one. Because if it's a straight line here, it's going to be some jagged-ass line everywhere else. If I wanted to make it actually symmetrical, right? Like, as you can see, everything else is a fucking mess. Like, yeah, I'm gonna make a melee map where this is the mineral layout. Good idea. Why didn't I think of this sooner? So I think the solution here is just to... fuck off with that completely. Yeah, it's exactly what we're looking for around these parts. I guess they should all be towards the back wall, actually, now that I think about it. So, like, this is towards this back wall. So that should be towards that back wall. This should be towards this back wall. I don't know. That was a little rough, too, because, yeah, it's not always consistent. So I guess we'll do these two like that. This one like that, and these two like that. It's close enough. Fucking around with rotational symmetry for odd amounts of... like, odd numbers of players is definitely different than I thought it would be. Even though I have a square map. Still doesn't quite work out the way that you would like it to. But that's okay. Trying to figure out where the naturals are going to go. I was thinking of just making them safe, honestly. Just making them safe bases. Something like over here. Oh, I can't do that direction because of this, but... like, where this giant hole area for each main is going to end up being higher ground. But... yeah, I don't know about that one. Because I want to make sure that the natural is close enough that the other... well, we just got to make sure that we're not fucking over people if they want to take a fast expansion, that's all. ass world, to be honest. I don't actually have the tiles for stacking this cliff with the subcliff, but in this case, it's close enough. And it'll probably motivate me to make those tiles. Although, actually, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to extend further down instead of this. Nice. Well, that's epic. Except, we've got to do it 4 more times, and I've got to figure out what I do with that ridge over there. I guess that could, in theory, be the expansion. Or I could pull this up some more. I think the problem with trying to expand out this one is, yeah, it doesn't... There's not actually any room over here. So I think we probably just need to refactor this. Basically, we need to figure out, like, there needs to be a spot behind the main, within the main. I like how this all aligned earlier, but... That's some shit. Anyway. Yeah, I'm thinking the spot needs to be like over here, which means we... Oh, maybe over here. We can't pull that out anymore, so... Yeah, I think the solution to this area is making it like a droppable region, right? Like encouraging drop play. And then we can do something like this. Oh, it's because I saw him rotating some shit. Oops. Oops. So all I had to do here was plant that there. Oh, I kind of like that idea I just had as well. So I'm basically thinking now, like, we put the ramp over here, which in theory doesn't do too much, but it increases the rotation time to this area. And that, I think, will do a lot. Like, if you're actually under attack, suddenly it's not so easy to reinforce, is what I'm thinking. They really gave this tile set the short end of the dick on this one, man. Yeah, the other thing here is like this looks like it needs to be filled in. Looks pretty ugly. Though at the same time, yeah, I don't know. I like how this tile set is so unreadable at times that you can't even tell. Like, you know something's fucked up, but you can't tell exactly how fucked up. Epic. I was going to expand it further, but well, I guess we can do this. Okay. Oh yeah, how did I forget? Okay. We got gas. As if anybody needed to know that. Yeah, this ain't gonna work. Definitely needs to be much more open. Like, in theory, I could put it over here, but I think the problem with that is, is that a problem? Yeah. There's no over here for the teal player on the right. Actually, everybody else, it seems to work out fine. Oh, teal doesn't even have one. I somehow missed the fact that teal would not have one. Whereas, like, I guess everybody has one right here, but not everybody has it right here. Jesus, what a headache. Oh, boy. Cops are coming to arrest the designers of SCM Draft, I guess. Just SI. He's in Germany, though. They have the wrong area. The wrong guy. Ridiculous, I say. The two rotational symmetry is fine, I think. Like, there'll be a base here, there's two bases here, there'll be a base there. And so there's, what, 4 on either side. Maybe there should be a 5th somewhere on the north and south so that there's one expansion per player on each side. Then I just need to find out where their naturals are and they can fight over the north and south sides of the map. I think I'm definitely going to open up the middle of the map. just because it makes sense to do so. All right. So we've done that. I guess I could have done a different set of rotational symmetry in the middle specifically to help with that, but that's fine, I think. In the meantime. Guess I could make some, oh, you know, honestly, like, that's a tile blend that we should have had a while ago, is like the, either magma cliff being bordered with lava, or dirt cliff being bordered with lava. That would be great. That would look epic. So, we got something done there anyway. So yeah, we definitely need to refactor the junk that we've placed over here. We probably should just refactor the main in general. Not necessarily a sweeping change in terms of, you know, what's space that's available or whatever. The exact location of the main will change almost definitively. So we should probably just figure that out now. I think we can say, like, there. Right? Or maybe it should be far away from the ramp? Should it be like over here? Is that even reasonable for teal? I don't know why teal is such a special case. But that's better, I think. So we've got that. And then we got to pick the natural. Which will, at the very least, be separated by high ground, if not on high ground. Whereas the main is obviously in the medium ground. We have one ramp out of each base. Probably will be... I do want the main to be, or the natural to be droppable. And maybe have a long rotation to it. I'm not sure how that'll work out. Like a long rotation, not in the sense that it takes you a while to get there the first time, but something sort of like that, maybe. God damn it. Yeah, the resources are a fucking mess in this one, man. As far as the mains go and where the naturals are placed, 5x rotational symmetry seems very strange as far as trying to get that done is concerned. Like, this one is facing this cliff, but like you can't really follow that because this cliff is different for each player. Like, for one, this cliff doesn't even exist for for 2 players, I think? Yeah, for orange and teal. But I think there's... That's just something I gotta get used to, I think. I think I gotta get used to, like... Maybe if the maps are actually wider than they are tall, this won't matter as much. Or this won't actually happen. This, whatever it's called, like the inequity. So, I'm not sure. Anyway, we'll get the naturals up and running tomorrow. Maybe I'll do some work on it today as well. Obviously, the bit behind the high lava expansions, those are going to be higher ground as well. Maybe incentivizing a drop because the resources are going to be up against them. So there's that you got to watch out for. I might end up adding a ramp at the very end of it so that a defender can easily go up there. I haven't figured out where the ramps in are going to be. It's probably going to be right here and right here, like the interior most area. But we'll figure that out. And with the naturals over here, I still don't think it would be prudent per se to allow a ramp in there. Maybe it could be a ramp with like a blocker on it or something. And if the blocker has vision of minerals, maybe it's a unit instead of a building, like a bunch of eggs or something. And maybe that would allow for workers to obviously decollide through. You can see what goes there. So yeah, some thoughts. Obviously there's going to be a base in this little area and then a base in here. And again, I got to figure out if I want to add a 5th base to the north and south. That would make sense. But maybe it's also okay for there to only be 4. Like, we know that there's 5 naturals and technically there's 8 bases in the outskirts. So there's already more than enough it's like 3 and some fraction bases per player without any... There's at least 3 bases per player without any combat actually needing to take place. So there's that. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, that's it. Nice short stream. Got some assembly work done, very, very minor. Obviously worked on this map a lot. And did some work on the task sheet, the modding wish list, some housekeeping, basically. So nothing crazy. See you next time for probably a longer, more involved one. And yeah, looking forward to it. Bye.